So Donald Trump was at his fraud trial in New York, and he was awkwardly sitting in the courtroom with his scowl on, and we got some amazing pictures and video out of it, although they're not recording the whole thing, which is a shame, because then we'd know more of the truth of what goes on as opposed to whatever Trump spins it as when he gets out. But we do have this amazing moment that unfolded. I'm going to play this clip for you and they'll explain it. But basically, Trump got hit with a gag order because of stuff he was saying during the trial. Watch this.
Of New York City, there's been breaking news in the case against Donald Trump, the fraud case. And this is Judge Arthur Engoron, who Donald Trump has been going after outside of the courtroom, has now put a gag order on all parties in the case, a specific gag order, though, regarding posting or publicly speaking about any member of his staff. This follows a Truth Social post from Donald Trump earlier today naming the judge's clerk and claiming that she shouldn't be in that position because she was friendly with Chuck Schumer. There was a picture of the two of them together. Joining us now is NBC News correspondent Vaughn Hilliard, who's outside the courthouse, and former FBI General Counsel Andrew Weissman, and NBC News legal analyst. So, Vaughn, I very briefly touched on what happened, but please do explain what led to this gag order.
Right. I just ran out of the courtroom where this trial is beginning again here this afternoon in Lower Manhattan. And that principal law clerk of the judge continues to sit next to him about 3 feet away and about 10 feet away from Donald Trump, who remains in the courtroom this afternoon. This began in around the 11 a.m. hour during one of the courtroom breaks when Donald Trump posted on his so-called Truth social media account a photo of this principal law clerk with Chuck Schumer and suggested that she was Chuck Schumer's girlfriend. There is nothing to suggest, let's be very clear, that the principal law clerk is a girlfriend of Chuck Schumer. This was an image that was taken from her Instagram account. Of course, Chuck Schumer is the senator of New York, and there is nothing that disqualifies an individual from getting a photo with the senator of New York. But Donald Trump put this out into the sphere. Then during the course of the lunch hour, Donald Trump and his attorneys entered the courtroom about 6 different times, coming in and out to their holding room before returning to the courtroom. There was a period of time in which the press was not allowed in there while the attorney general's prosecutors were inside of the courtroom. And what we do know ultimately that came of all this was in the 1 o'clock hour, Donald Trump removed that post from his social media account. And then upon the reconvening of the courtroom, the judge made it very clear, saying in part, I want to read you, quote, "Consider this a gag order on all parties with respect to posting or publicly speaking about any member of my staff." Of course, Donald Trump has attacked the judge in this case head on, but it turned to the next level in him imposing this gag order on Donald Trump and the parties involved in this case when it came to directly attacking the law clerk. The proceedings continue here this afternoon, Katie, and that principal law clerk continues to sit by the judge's side, and Donald Trump continues to stare both of them down as the first witness continues.
Wow. So Trump is going after members of the judge's staff, and they realize that immediately. That genuinely puts these people in danger. And so homie immediately was like, now there's a gag order, and now you can't say anything about my staff members or there will be further consequences. And look, Trump is out on bail in like 4 different jurisdictions. In this case, it's a civil trial, so it's not a criminal trial, so he's not out on bail here. But the number of times he's violated the conditions of his pretrial release, it's now astronomical. Like dozens of times he's done things that he was explicitly instructed not to do. And this is the first time there's been any consequences at all, and it happens to be in this civil fraud trial. So they go on to point out here, Trump's now deleted attack boosted an account falsely claiming hobo Judge Engoron drinks on the job. Trump's attack on law clerk amplified a disinformation account slandering Engoron as drinking 40s while in session. So this is the post in question. Schumer's girlfriend, Allison R. Greenfield, is running this case against me. How disgraceful. This case should be dismissed immediately. Jesus Christ. And so you don't see the picture here, but there is a picture of Allison Greenfield with Schumer. It's just a picture she took with Schumer. she's not at all his girlfriend. He's just trying to dig up anything, like anything to try to feed the narrative that this is biased, this is rigged, and he's doing it in the midst of the trial. Now, we'll get to more on this later today or perhaps tomorrow, but Trump's own attorney screwed him over in this case. And so now he's just helplessly flailing around because he would have preferred a jury trial, but they didn't they didn't check the box to request one. And then it was too late. They missed the window, and now they don't get a jury trial. And so he's desperate, man. He is super desperate. So here they say the Trump-boosted Twitter account Judicial Protest is verified with about 150 followers and describes itself as applying the 69th Amendment to the internet. The account follows 3 other accounts, including a nationalist theme one. The account links a Rumble account with the same name that appears to generate its own right-wing disinformation videos against lawyers. The Judicial Protest account may have captured Trump's attention recently due to a viral video claiming Judge Engoron is a hobo and drinks alcohol out of 40-ounce bottles while on the job. The reason why this is important is because it is the first sign of some consequences for Trump's actions in the midst of these court cases, in the midst of these trials. And so the gag order is a limited gag order. I know Jack Smith requested certain limited gag orders as well. But listen, you want to talk about two-tier justice system? The two-tier justice system is the favoritism he's getting as he repeatedly violates, his pretrial release rules. That if he wasn't a former president, this person would have been locked up like on the second day of his release on bail in the first jurisdiction he was released on bail. Right? He'd already be in pretrial detention. So there is favoritism, but it's cutting in his favor. And it took like directly attacking a member of the judge's staff on the same day while in court, putting her in danger in order for there to be consequences. And he keeps doing this thing, you come after me, I'm going to come after you thing. And it's like, how is that not intimidation? Right? I'm sure there's witness tampering going on as well. Like, it is wild. But I think he genuinely feels for the first time in a long time, like I'm kind of in trouble here. And so all he has is to attempt to make his case politically because he knows legally he's sort of screwed in a variety of different ways. In this particular case, the civil fraud case, this is actually a really, really big deal. Jail is not in question. Prison is not in question. But we know that he's going to lose his business certificates in New York, which means he has no more business license in New York. So he can't own and operate businesses in New York anymore. Well, that's his home, right? That's where a lot of his businesses are headquartered. So can't do that anymore. Can't have that anymore. And then also he's facing up to a $250 million fine. And by the way, there's going to be a judge who's appointed to oversee basically the liquidation of all of the Trump assets in New York as a direct result of this case. And so he knows he's in trouble. That's why he's flailing. That's why this is all he's got. Personal attacks, trying to make it seem like everything is rigged and biased. It's not looking good for the big guy, let's say that. Hey y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop, and watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to.